Hello! Are you tired of your build agents getting messy over time? What if I told you there's a way to get a fresh, clean agent for every build without the headache of managing multiple machines? Today we're containerizing Azure Pipelines self-hosted agent on my Mac. Think of it like getting a brand new rental car for every trip instead of using your personal car that accumulates mud and scratches. By the end of this video, you'll have a Docker container that spins up agents on demand, connects securely to your Azure DevOps organization, and scales effortlessly. Containerization gives you consistent environments, easy versioning, rapid deployment, and complete isolation between builds, all while keeping your setup maintainable and production ready. Let's just quickly break down the key concepts. We've got a Azure Pipelines agent, and when we think about it, this is like a courier service. The agent picks up build jobs from your Azure DevOps organization's queue and then delivers the results back. Instead of Microsoft's shared couriers, you're running your own dedicated courier. Then there's the concept of personal access tokens, or PAT. This is like a hotel keycard that only opens to your specific floor and room and will scope it narrowly and keep it locked away. Then we have containerized agents. Remember that rental car analogy? Well, each container is a clean rental. No leftover files, there's no weird configurations from previous jobs. You return to it and you get a fresh one. Docker image versus container. So these are two separate things. Think of your Docker image as the blueprint and the container is the actual house you live in. We'll build one blueprint and create multiple houses from that same blueprint, each of these houses being identical to each other. Then you'll have container volumes and workspaces, where these are like shared folders that survive when you return the rental car. Your build artifacts stick around even when the container is gone. So here's how everything connects. My Mac runs the Docker desktop. Inside it is a container. That Azure Pipeline agent runs and registers with my chosen pool using environment variables that will be set at runtime. The benefits of doing this is I have a clean environment for every job, easy version updates of the agent, complete isolation between builds, and reproducible setup. Of course, there are trade-offs like I lose direct hardware access compared to bare metal agents, but I gain consistency and security. What happens is the agent downloads and configures itself when the container starts. It picks up jobs from my pool and then runs them in isolation and gracefully unregisters whenever I stop the container. So what do we need to get this started? You'll need Docker Desktop already installed. In my case, I'm on a Mac, but you can also do this on a Windows and Linux PC. Plus an Azure DevOps organization with permission to create agent pools. We won't cover those setups today. Let's walk through each of the files quickly. We've got this Docker file, which we start from a Ubuntu 24.04 image for the latest LTS stability, and we install the essential tools following Microsoft's recommendation. We create a non-root user for security. Oh, and we pin the agent version here so that we can easily change and control the version and roll back if there's any issues. We've got the start.sh bash script file. And this is like the orchestrator or the brain of our setup. It checks for environment variables that we'll be creating in a bit based on this env sample file. in that we have the environment variables for our DevOps organization URL, the path token, and the agent pool. So what this script does is download the agent with this API call, and it also handles graceful shutdown with signal traps. Next, we have the Docker Compose file. This is an optional, but I find convenient when you're working with Docker because what it does is that it brings it all together, has some safeguards with the resource limits. You can put in health check and several other configuration for your containers. Lastly, we had the env.sample file, which we will be copying from. Now, let's build and run this. First, we'll copy the env sample file into our own env file, and this is the file that we'll update. So we'll grab the DevOps organization URL, paste it here. Next, we'll generate our personal access token. You can do that by clicking on the DevOps portal, selecting personal access tokens. And here I've already created one the other day to test, which we will delete. So starting from scratch, we set an expiration period. And most importantly, we scope the permissions to just the agent pools, read and manage. So that's the minimum permissions needed. And that is documented by Microsoft. Hit create, copy the path token here, paste it into our env file. So keep this token secret, which I'm showing to you now because I'll be deleting this straight after this demo. Change the pool name. So I will create a pool, go to organization setting, agent pools. And here I've already pre-created an agent pool, which I can delete so we can recreate from scratch. Select self-hosted. Demo agent is the name of my pipelines pool, which I'll replace with demo pool, demo agent rather. Agent name, I'll just comment this out because I want to keep it unique so that I can show you when I scale the agents how easy it is to do it. So next is the easy bit. We just do a Docker Compose, and if you look at Docker Compose, there's several switches here that you can use. What we will use is Docker Compose up because that will create and start the containers for us. Docker Compose up, and what I want to use as well is to run it in this detached mode because I want to run the containers in the background. So Docker Compose up -d will run my container in detached mode. And here you'll see it in action with the image being built, and it's already created and started. And you can see how fast it is. It's just a couple of seconds. And we'll have a quick look at Docker Desktop to see what its status is. If you look at the logs here, you can see that it's ran the Azure Pipelines agent install using the path that we've given it, and it's already up and running. And we can prove that by looking at the agent pool, selecting agents, and here it is. It's online and it's ready to run. So if I go to my project, which I have pre-created, demo agent project, create a pipeline, select an existing one because I've pre-created this. It's just a test pipeline that merely shows us the metadata for Azure Pipelines. giving us the agent name, agent OS, agent version, etc. And also showing us some more built-in variables. I'll click run. And because this is the first time I'm running this pipeline job, I will need to grant permission for the agent to be able to run this pipeline. And it's done. Here in the test task or the task step, I can see all the metadata and the variables being displayed accordingly and correctly, and more of that, more of the environment variables being shown here with the build ID, source branch, the work folder, and the pipeline workspace folders. And that is how easy it is. You've seen how easy it is to quickly spin up a containerized agent. To stop it, I can just do a Docker compose down, and it will stop the agent. It's removed the container. And if we look again in my agent pools, it's gone. There's no more agent in here. So why choose containers for your agents? For me, there's three key benefits. There's repeatability, where every agent starts identical. There's no leftover files. There's no configuration drift. No mystery failures. There's scalability, where I can quickly scale out to 3, 5, 10 agents with just a one-line command, which I'll show you. If I do the same Docker compose up D, and there is a scale switch, which I'll use to say that I want my Azure Pipelines agent to, there's 5 of them, and it's as quick as that. It's already started those 5 agents. If I switch back to my Docker desktop, I can see they're all up. And here in my demo agent pool, I can see that all 5 are now up there. They're still showing offline. You have to give it a few seconds to establish communication and trust. And now they're all up and online, all having been quickly scaled out in a matter of seconds and all identical to each other. Another key benefit of containerizing it is I can quickly reset these machines. You've seen how easy it is to just stop the container and restart it. I can also do version controlling when I want to update my agent versions and also roll it back so I can test it safely and roll it back if needed. So I just want to run past several things that we need to think about securing our containers or securing our agents. Security is critical when we're running build agents. So one thing that we should do is that not to commit our .env file, for example. They get ignored for a reason. So we have sensitive information such as our secrets, our tokens. And while we're at the topic of tokens, we want to scope it to the least privilege. In our case, the permission that it requires per Microsoft documentation is read and manage of agent pools, and that's the only thing we've granted it. You set a short expiration date on your tokens, and then you rotate them regularly. With regard to enterprise patterns, you usually store the secrets in managed key vaults like Azure Key Vault or AWS Secrets Manager. You inject these secrets at runtime. Never show it in your CI logs or your image layers. We use service principals instead of personal tokens where it's possible. And lastly, we do image scanning for vulnerabilities. With regard to network security, we have to control egress traffic. Agents need to reach the Azure DevOps instance and package repositories, but anything else should be blocked. There we have it. We have a production-ready, containerized Azure Pipelines agent that's secure, maintainable, and scalable. What we built is a clean, reproducible agent environment. It's secure secret handling with no hard-coded values. There's graceful shutdown and registration management. Other things we can do to improve this is to set up automated image rebuilds for agent updates and consider container orchestration for larger deployments. That's it. Thanks for watching and happy building.